Hello, Forsen. Let's see how much you know about building a PC.
And new parts. We have a lot of boxes.
We have a lot of boxes. That's me, the greatest boxer of all time.
And a lot of PC parts, so it's best you unbox them.
I can build a PC.
You really need, place items
Anyone
into
can build
the
a
case
PC.
and make sure that they all fit
Just
and
Google.
then start working.
Well.
And now we're really going to start building by adding the motherboard in.
The Verge's
so
shitty PC build
guide should be really
Oh, hello, Forsen. How are you doing today?
I'm
I hope
good.
you had a good sunny day here in Swedistan.
Yeah.
Don't forget to remind Nina to put the boat outside. Try this thing.
Oh, you reminded me of something else though. When you said remind. Alright, I have to have my phone on loud in case your mother calls, alright chat? But make sure to let
careful
me know
with
it's
them.
ringing.
And screw in with confidence, but also
Future.
don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board. I chose Asus's Z370 motherboard for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also it has support for NVMe SSDs, meaning you can get really fast SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace that goes at the back of the computer. You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in, because there's no screw. It really just has to go outside of the case and clasp onto the frame.
How have they not gotten
And this is very important
better
because
yet?
otherwise you can't align the motherboard correctly with the holes. We're just going to start installing all 8 screws. So next we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for two main reasons. One, it has LEDs and...
Unlucky. I'm just gonna lick my ears and fart in my face now.
Nina, I need you to do something for me.
do like lights in our gaming desktops. Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2666 megahertz, I believe, so it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that speed, which is most important. Open the slots first, and just aligning the stick with the middle of the strip, not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo. So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see the gold connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3, we're going to install the hard drive, or in this case, the NVMe SSD. I chose this format of solid state drive so that I could input it into the motherboard without having to worry about extra wires or putting it in a separate part of the case and just getting really messy.
Hello, Fate Forsen.
This is from
I am the real
Kingston,
Forsen, and I saw some base make an animation about us for their little university semester project. Please check it out.
-10, by the way.
Alright.
Gigabytes, so it's not a lot, but you can always upgrade this and swap it out, and it's only held down by one screw and the latch, so it's really simple and really
I don't get it. What does this mean? What is this video? Is it bad at building PCs, or
want games to load quickly? So that's why it's best if
Verge's
you're using
shitty
SSD.
PC build, guys?
Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card. I chose
Yes.
PNY's GTX 1080, which is overclocked, and so it's a pretty easy installation. You're just going to find the gold connectors, and you're going to line this bracket with the back end bracket of your
I
PC
can't
case.
tell what it's doing
Now,
wrong, except for when they put the
which
RAM
lane you
pieces, you're
choose
supposed to do it every other or something.
depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just going to pick the top one because the SSD is at the bottom.
Hello,
and I don't
Mr.
wanna cover it.
Forsen.
I
I
just
found
think
the best hiding spot for Nina in the world. No one will ever find her. Now, smiley face.
Thank you. Your payment will be sent later this afternoon, yeah.
Click down. Take your remaining brackets and just put them in the spots that you haven't used. You don't have to screw these in. They get bolted down by the back end bracket. And your GPU is installed. Power supply time. I chose Corsair's 850 watt power supply because I need enough headroom for ray tracing GPUs when they come out, and I don't want to have to upgrade it again. So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads so that the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system. So just take it in slide it in nice and easy until you have a snug fit, and then shift it to the back and make sure it's right up against the frame.
I mean, this is probably way
Now,
funnier
just take
if
the
you
required
know a
screws
lot
and
about
tighten
computers,
and
but to
screw
me
it
it's
in.
just like, alright,
So next
it's
step, we're
doing a
going to install the
PC.
CPU core. In this case, it's going to go on the top end of the case, and we're just going to have the hose hang out for a little while until we install the processor, which is going to come a little later. Always be sure to try to place it in the system first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space. But in this case, no pun intended, it fits in perfectly, and we're gonna start screwing it in. And so there's nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler,
Always
and they
intend the
take forever.
puns, even if you didn't.
So
Rookie
next up,
mistake.
cables. Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of daunting at first, so you always have to find the ones that are going to fit. In this case, you need to match those cables with the correct descriptions on the power supply. Next step is we're connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable. We're just matching that cable from the motherboard, threading it through the back, and attaching the 24-pin header to the power supply so that we can have one of the connections complete. The next few additions will be for the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the CPU cooler, anything else really. We're installing the CPU, the heart of the computer or the brain.
My fellow
depending on how you look
Americans,
at
do
it.
you listen me
So
yet?
to do this, we're just
All
gonna
you
remove
fucking New Age
the-
zoners, hippie, social justice warriors. BLM matters, just shut the fuck up and stop complaining everything was fine. My God, now Twitch TV is getting out of control. Trump 2024.
plastic covering that we put on the motherboard.
Amen, bro.
We're just going to take this little plastic part out. We'll just toss that out of here. And now we have an exposed CPU holder, or rather slot, on the motherboard. And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is a special little part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool.
Is he also
It makes it really
mispronouncing
useful
it
if you
on
want to
purpose?
install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation chip, and it's ready to go, and it supports overclocking. So what having this little installer does for you is it's
That's how you
basically a
pronounce
brace
it?
that you can
Jesus.
apply
Is it a
right to the
fucking Greek god or
CPU
what?
and light it up
That's
with
not
the
how you pronounce
triangles
it.
that you'll see on the
It's
bottom
Asus.
left corners. And this will make it easier for us to apply it to the motherboard and then apply thermal paste and then apply a CPU cooler on top. And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up, and we're going to clasp down on it and we'll be good to go. So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly applied in a circle around it, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and
They
layer
said,
it on top of the CPU.
I think there is a burning
The final
smell you
version
have
is
to check out. Now that Sib is gone. Chat.
Fucking help me! That is not Forsen. That is false Forsen. Forsen! Then it died long ago. That was go to. Help!
to add the CPU cooler to
Wait,
the top
is he
end
serious,
of the processor.
or is he?
So you're gonna see that there are 4 brackets, or rather like screws
Wait, is he?
in
Wait,
here with
is he
brackets and
serious
holders
or
right
is
here.
he sarcastic?
And they're going
when
to
he's doing
keep the
this?
cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it.
Oh,
like
he's
basically keep it
serious,
Take
and it's re-uploaded
thumb
because he
screws
removed it
like
from his
this
channel.
and just screw them on.
Oh, that's why it's
So
funny.
now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel
that's
where
why it's
all this fun
funny.
stuff is happening. So we fully built the PC, everything's put together, and we got to the post screen. So what's next? Well, you need a USB flash drive with your Windows installation media on it, and of course a license key. So I plugged that up, installed Windows in a couple of minutes, installed a bunch of drivers, and now we have a fully functioning gaming PC ready to run some games. Right now I've got Arma 3 running at maximum settings, native resolution, which is 1080p HD, and it's running pretty smoothly. Like, I'm averaging 70 and 80 FPS, and this is normally like a very intensive game to run, and it's still doing a pretty good job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my favorite games. I'm actually playing against a bot, and I'm distracted, so I'm not actually doing so well. But otherwise, like, this is pretty much what you would see me do on a gaming computer. Test stuff out, and hopefully have really high frame rates like I am right now. I'm averaging 120 FPS, and that's only because I've actually locked the game to that frame.
Alright, there was some reaction, SuperCut reaction.
There is a video that a lot of people have been sharing in my Discord.
I kept getting notifications over and over and over to review this thing before it gets taken down.
On September the 13th of this year, The Verge published a
20
video on
minutes,
YouTube.
dude.
This is a notoriously bad video, apparently. I haven't watched it yet.
Apparently, it was like a total fucking shit show.
How we built $2,000 gaming PC.
But I've been told it is extremely bad, and it's full of things that you just shouldn't do when building a...
Yeah, I'm not watching that though. That's yeah. Don't need 20 minutes of YouTubers faking their reactions. Yesterday's offline